welcome to 3 Degrees of Love Divination. Well, welcome back, rather. Thank you for joining me for my fifth annual Bell Let's Talk Day, not sponsored, video for mental health. Of course, Bell Let's Talk Day, we're filming this over the course of the weekend. It's Saturday, January 17th. 2026. So happy New Year to you and everyone else. Of course, you already know we talk all the time, so that's fine. Um, but um, but yeah, like we're coming into a new year, and we're all about mental health, and mental health matters, and having a discussion about that. And of course, Bell Let's Talk Day is something that's um is a campaign that is run by our local phone network and Bell Media. So here in Canada, you and I are both Canadian. Of course, you're on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast. So it's like the East meets the West, and we're here in this moment, this domain together, for the sake of love and mental health, and talking all about our struggles, our achievements, and everything else in between. So, of course, this video that I've been doing, and I've been doing it for the last about 5 years now, I would say. Time really does fly, and I've met a lot of wonderful people along my journey. Um, Lost some people too. Not only just in regards to relationships, but even a loved one. My father passed away at the end of last year, just after Christmas. And I cremated him at the beginning of this year. So that's been quite the turnover. And watching him sort of struggle over a decade of mental decline, with Alzheimer's and dementia. That takes a huge toll on any given person. And then, but to have to sort of go through that, considering everything that was going on, pandemic, the economy, all of those things, right? It really sort of left many people sort of stuck in isolation and having to carry emotional weight and mental health struggles alone. And not only that, but thinking about the toll that takes on any individual. And of course, you and I both are been diagnosed with mental illness, mental health concerns. And so we share that in common. And so because of that, I see you as an ally, and I hope we see each other as allies in this great fight, and battle with mental health, especially when we're sitting in the midst of a global mental health crisis, both you and I, and then still trying to navigate our own mental health diagnosis. And of course, there's so many different diagnoses out there that any one person can have, right? And no two people are the same. But it's when we can recognize our differences, take responsibility for ourselves, and still manage to have understanding, respect, and the drive to be supportive of each other. That's what makes all the difference, right? And so I want to thank you so much for joining me and doing this with me this year. This really means a lot, considering everything that has gone on in the last several years of our lives, both within the collective and even in our own individual lives separately. And so the fact that we can come together with those differences and talk about it openly and truthfully, that really means a lot. Of course, like I said, this is not sponsored. This is not sponsored, of course, by Bell Media, social media or anything like that. This is just something that I, felt really called to do a few years back, and I've sort of kept up with that ever since. So, and the amount of people that have passed through in each video that I've done, the things that we've had the opportunity to speak about and share with one another, and even highlight the accomplishments that each has taken on their journey forth, um, means a lot. And so having you this year is exciting because we've already collabed a few times already, since we've known each other. And how I came to meet you was very haphazardly on Instagram. And from the moment that I met you and from the moment that I saw what you have to offer, well, I immediately fell in love and was like, I have to know
I
her.
love that.
So what's that?
I said I love that.
Yeah, and well, I love you and everything that you've created to date. So, if of course, to everybody who's watching, if you haven't seen and checked out any of the videos that I've already done with Michelle, or about what she has to offer, please, please go check that out. But so, of course, and this is Michelle, of course, not TJ. Hmm. Like yeah, which Michelle is also someone who won a giveaway that I did with another fellow Canadian, that I've collaborated with, who's the creator of the Thoughtful Journey Oracle deck. And you ended up being a winner. And when I did my interview with her to for the giveaway, I mistakenly called her Michelle. So that was fun. And embarrassing all at the same time, but all in good love. So please tell us, Michelle, more about yourself and what you've accomplished, and we'll we won't spend too much time, um going over everything that you've created to date because we've already done videos on that, but we still want to know what you've got going on in your repertoire and maybe plans for future engagement. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here, especially for Bell Let's Talk Day. And yeah, so I am Michelle. I started the Mindful Wildflower a little over a year ago. And it started from a place of being recently diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, but having struggled with it for many, many years. Obviously, I knew that the symptoms were there, but just didn't have the formal diagnosis. And so once I got the formal diagnosis and started getting some dialectical behavior therapy, I really thought that those skills that I was learning were so impactful, and I just wanted to share them with other people. So I started creating tools that could make learning DBT or dialectical behavior therapy just more accessible, more easier to understand, and just something that you wanted to go to instead of just a plain worksheet that is intimidating. So I created a journal and a card deck and some stickers and other little tools that you can purchase at themindfulwildflower.ca. And yeah, that's a little bit of who I am and what I've created.
Yeah, well, and that's awesome. And of course, all of Michelle's links will be in the description box down below. And I just want to add that, I do have a coupon code for Michelle's website. So if you're interested in picking up any of her stuff, you can use that. And of course, that will be in the description box as well. And it's 3 degrees with the number three, not how I spell it on my channel, but 3 degrees loves MW10. right? I think that's what it is. But anyways, we're going if I'm misquoting it, it's in the description box. So yeah, so it's there. Um, yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, we will be, like I said, this video right now we're filming on Saturday. But it will be premiering on at 7 o'clock, I think is what we agreed on, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bell Let's Talk Day, the actual Bell Let's Talk Day, which is Wednesday, January the 21st, 2026. So yeah, so please be sure to tune in for that and join us in the live chat. We'll probably have some surprises there too as well. So be sure to, join us. Um, so of course, what is one thing, Michelle, about yourself now that you wouldn't have recognized a few years ago about you?
I think my consistency. So I have never been a consistent person with habits, with just, yeah, anything in life. I tend to jump from one thing to the next, one hobby to the next. But I've been very consistent with the Mindful Wildflower and with my own mental health journey. And so I think the Mindful Wildflower especially has helped me just create more of a habit in being mindful of my own mental health and what I need. And it's made me have the skills top of mind all of the time because I'm thinking about what am I going to post next and what other skills can I post about. So I'm constantly thinking about it. And so it's really done a lot to help me be more consistent in my own. I journal more, I do more mindfulness, I do more just kind of reflection and mindfulness of current emotions. And so I think in doing that, I've just become a lot more consistent of a person. And that's something that a couple of years ago I wouldn't have recognized in myself.
Yeah. And I absolutely love that. And I feel like I for me too, I feel like it's along the same lines. A few years ago, being this very in tune with my emotions, being able to separate my emotions from my actual self and not be absorbed or have them take over like leadership in my decisions and things like that, slowing down where that is concerned so I can really get to know each parts in its own form, separate from me, has been something that I feel that is something that I recognize that about myself that maybe I wouldn't have been able to do or that I ever did years ago. And that, came up too within through therapy and the work that I've been doing even on my own, combining that with spiritual practices, journaling, tarot, and combining that with divination. And of course, and that's also where I feel like when I came across the mindful wildflower, that was just an extra added bonus of, yeah, you're on the right track. You're on the right track, girl. And the thing is, because for me, I burnt out of my field as, a social worker and working with clients that have brain injuries and, working in community advocacy and things like that. On top of everything that I've had to deal with over the course of 13 years. I've been diagnosed with OCD, extreme anxiety and depression, and then the physical sort of ramifications, if you will, that has kept me sort of homebound because of it. Um, and so it's been very hard to navigate all of that, but having that structure of combined therapy and and tarot and journaling and things like that. And also even with DBT, because I again with my own professional, I guess, experience working in this field, I've been aware of cognitive behavioral therapy and things like that. And yes, I've heard of DBT, but it wasn't something that I really had a focus on. And but when I came across you and your work and what you created with the Mindful Wildflower, I started to look deeper at dialectic.
Dialectical behavior therapy.
Thank you, DBT. I started to look more into it and seeing the benefits of it and the way that you broke it down in your journal, and the way that you've broken it down even in your deck set has made me take a closer look at it and see the benefits that it's had even for the work that I've done. So that has been something that has been absolutely beautiful, and I want you to know how inspiring that is. And when I see you post and do your work with the Mindful Wildflower, regularly, it's truly inspiring, and it's something that um has also help me to keep up my motivation in sticking with what I'm doing and what I've been building. So yeah, and isn't that what the whole idea of love and and community is about, right? Sort of inspiring, giving and sharing and building this sense of community. So yeah, so yay for us both where that is concerned, and thank you for inspiring me to continue on my journey too. That really means a lot. Um and just even to hear where you've come from and where you are now is something to be truly proud of. And yeah, so and I'm proud of you and you should be proud of yourself. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
Um, so next question I have for you is about your spiritual practice and mental wellness. So how has your spiritual practice supported your mental health during the recent global changes and personal challenges? How or have your practices shifted in response to events over the last few years? Um, what would like what would you say has also been something that's been a part of your personal growth where that is concerned?
Yeah, so my spiritual journey has been an interesting one. I started out very religious, and then I left that quite abruptly. And so I connected that religion to spirituality. And when I left it, I kind of closed off all spirituality because it reminded me of a time in my life that was very triggering. And so for a long time, I just thought all spirituality I didn't want to think about, I didn't want to put thought into it. And it's just been over the last couple of years that I've started opening up to my spirituality and opening up to different things, just being more accepting of the universe and what I'm putting out into the universe and thinking of that coming back to me and practicing more tarot readings and seeing what comes from that and just connecting with different people has been something that I have seen more as a spiritual practice, that aspect of community and just communing with other people and talking about what they believe and getting to know their spiritual beliefs as well has really opened me up to not being so closed off to it and actually seeing like what spirituality can do for me, my mental health. And so I think, yeah, I've opened a lot more to it. I'm still pretty uneducated, I guess, about spirituality. But I think, yeah, I've definitely opened up myself up a lot more to it.
Yeah, and I agree. So for me, I grew up, and I've said this before on my channel here and there, but I grew up a Christian as well, and then also in sort of within Christianity, within my family, there's been a mixture of different denominations within Christianity itself, right? So, the religious aspect of spirituality, and then of course, again, when you sort of grown up in that, and then you experience things that go against with and situations with people that go against those teachings, and even those that sort of uphold or have upheld some level of authority, considering and putting forth that I'm Christian, but the way that we understand what Christianity was supposed to be about, their behavior did not align with the teaching. So it made for a very hypocritical sort of thing. And it was like, really? And then it was almost like, okay, do I believe what I'm being taught or no? Because I don't. So I wouldn't say that in my experience that I completely moved away from it. I think if anything, it was more like, it was like, okay, there's got to be more out there. There's got to be more to this, right? So learning to break the glass ceiling, and the events of my life, and that, over the course of, I don't know, 13 years or something like that, the way that it sort of positioned me to really see things, and I'm that type of person that, I guess maybe that comes from, um maybe part of that is well, my dad was a tradesman, so he was all about taking things apart and putting it back together, right? And so, but I mean, mind you, he was an electrician, so it was about electricity and stuff like that, right? But for me, I sort of took that approach when it came to, again, combining that with my experience and being a social worker and being a community advocate and things like that, really wanting to dissect and take apart religion as a whole, and see it from the inside sort of out, and identify where did we go wrong, where did humanity go wrong with stuff, because what I was seeing being reflected in the world around me, not only in my life but on a collective scale, was so not what I remember being taught as a child growing up in religion. And so I was like, no, that doesn't seem right. So it allowed me the opportunity to explore different avenues of spirituality. That's how I got into tarot. That's how I got into oracle. That's how I got into other forms of divination, and really sort of allowed myself to keep an open mind, where that was concerned, and really dive in and dive. Did I dive? Oh, I went on the diving board and did this, and we like, woo, and then right into the full form of spirituality, and what could that, sort of teach me, and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I would say that now I'm in a different position. I'm more well versed in things where things are concerned, tarot, but also realizing and recognizing how all of that stuff connects to mental health, how that connects to psychology, how that connects to our emotions. And so, to realizing that it was never supposed to be separated in the first place. Somewhere along the way, it got divvied up, and then egos came along, and then everybody's like, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. One dummy, how about you're all wrong and you're all right at the same time? Like, both can actually exist. People don't think so, but the two can exist very equally. And so that's where it kind of was like, oh, interesting. Ooh, now I get it. Oh, now I get it. Oh, and this all this disaster that's going on. Oh, okay. This is Mother Nature who's speaking out. That's why this shit's happening. Gotcha. So just hang on tight and just hang on for dear life and hope that you don't drown. Like, right? So yeah, that's I would say how yeah, and that and so combining all that is what has been very helpful to me, has helped me grow and to see things and people and everyone much differently, and to have a better understanding of the whole thing. So yeah. And then, I mean, it led me down the road to meet wonderful people such as yourself. So,
It's a
I'm
good
not mad at
way.
it. I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna change a few things, but then again, if I, even changing the slightest thing might have set will could set things off. If you've never watched Back to the Future or any of those like futuristic type things, then you need to watch it. Then you'll understand,
Very true. Good life
right?
lessons.
Or Hot Tub Time Machine. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Um, Okay, so how would you say? So the next question I have is your about your personal spiritual approach. How does your approach to mental wellness compare or differ from what you see in others? What unique insights or perspectives do you feel your journey has given you? Which I kind of think is already sort of related, and I think I feel like I've already sort of touched on that a little bit, but yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I also thought I kind of had a similar answer to what I've said, but I think really the consistency with the Mindful Wildflower has given me a unique opportunity to be really involved in this therapy and the skills, and in a way that most people don't get because they're not thinking about making posts for it and they're not thinking about creating content for it. So it's not in their head all of the time like it is me. But for me, I get to, and I say get to because I really think it's a privilege that I am always thinking, oh, that could be a post, oh, that could be a DBT skill, oh, and because I think like that, I'm able to integrate the skills into my life a little bit more than most people get the opportunity to.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely you just hit the nail on the head and that idea of when you said integration. And so that's a big thing that I've noticed where I feel like based on the last question, even sort of piggying back off of that last answer, what we talked about, even what you just said, finished saying about how because you're creating, it's always in your head to think about these different things, right? So your brain is always still processing, oh, what about that, oh, look at that, and you're always reevaluating what you're doing. So it's almost like you're in the arena, but then you're also not only are you in the ring in the arena, but you're also the spectator that's watching the whole thing, the whole show going on. And so I feel like that's I don't know if that's for you, but at least that's how I've experienced it for me in sort of in real time, is that I can, like what I was telling you, when I can separate my emotions from my actual self and see them as separate parts of me.
Yeah.
It's like now I can see where when one wants to take over, why their decision comes up or what their reasoning is, and have that sort of round table sort of with my emotions to be like, okay, well, no, that may not be the right approach. How about we look at it this way, or that way, and then sort of have like this counsel. Whereas I feel like most people don't have that framework to
Mm-hmm.
to be able to do that, to integrate. So it's one thing to have everything in theory, but then you don't act on it. It
Yep.
just stays in theory,
Yeah.
right? but I feel like because we've been doing this work for so long, because we've been in it, we've now had that extra step to not only have the theory based, but to put it in practice and integrate it.
Hmm.
And I think that's the biggest part of all of this is the integration.
Yeah.
So we can talk all day about theory, but if we're not integrating it, then it's just that's exactly what it stays to be, just theory,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like the Big Bang Theory. That's just how my brain went. I'm sorry. That was right. Like a part. Piggy just flew in and be like, "Oh yeah, drop the bomb. Don't forget about that."
Theory, theory.
So yeah, and I feel like that's where I feel like that when I look at the difference between myself and other people, that's the difference is that it's not just about absorbing the theory now, but it's about integrating and putting it into practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, where I think most people are still blinded, there's like that still that separation that happens. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So um all right, so this is okay. So this is a favorite question, and then okay. So we're gonna talk about favorite tools and resources. So let's talk about it. Uh, which tools, practices, or resources have been your go-to for emotional, mental, and spiritual health? Are there any new tools you've discovered recently that you'd recommend? Oh, okay. So the Mindful Wildflower
Okay.
Journal. Oh,
So this is my journal.
yes. Yes.
And
Oh, and
I've
the deck
been
too, that when you open
journaling,
it
yeah,
up has,
all four decks.
yes, yes.
Yes, yes. I've been using this journal every day for since January. Since the beginning of January, I've made a commitment to journal every single day, and
Mhm.
it has helped me just be more. Sorry. It's helped me be more engaged with my emotions, more attuned, in tune with them, and just recognizing like what I'm actually feeling in the moment and helping me work through them. Once I'm able to put them on paper, it's like I've felt them and I can be done with them then. I don't have to ruminate on them. I don't have to keep going back and back to the emotion. I feel like I've had it, I've written it, and then I can be done with it. So journaling has been a game changer for me lately for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to reiterate that, yes. So if you haven't checked out the full extensive walkthrough that Michelle and I did together, I will have that linked or I will have that in the description box for you. I was going to say maybe linked in the cards, but I don't know if I would be able to do that. If I can, I will. If I can't, well, even when we premiere this, we'll have all of the links in there and we'll put it in chat for you. But I wanted to share my version of this. So one of the things, a few things, and of course we're gonna start first with Michelle's stuff because Michelle's here. That's why. So and yeah. So first off, I want to talk if you haven't seen the video, um please go check that out. But in the meantime, and this is some new stuff too. So I wanted to show. So we didn't talk about the 365-day calendar that you have, which I think is brilliant that you did. And it's a year of DBT. And as you flip through the calendar, every week we have so that was December 2025, but we're in okay, so yeah, so here we are. We're January 2026. We're in week two, and in week two, we're looking at the skill tip and affirmation of the week. I can calm my body to help my mind follow. Action of the week, practice one tip skill, tip the temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing, progressive muscle relaxation when stress arises. And so any of what all of whatever skills that would fall under this is what we're looking to explore and do and achieve. So I and the fact that every week has a new skill and a new affirmation and an action for the week is something that I think is again brilliant. So yeah, so that's one of the other new ones that I absolutely love. And then of course, so this beautiful pouch was something that I initially had purchased from Amazon that was supposed to fit the journal, but then the journal wouldn't fit because it was too snug and very cumbersome to take in and out of this pouch because it was too exact. So I repurposed it, still for the Mindful Wildflower, but it holds other things instead of the actual journal. So it holds that, the calendar, and then it also holds a journal that I purposely bought just so it would match. Because I don't like to write in your journal and we've talked about this already. So I had to have a separate journal just so I could scribble on for it. And this is the journal that I purchased from my local dollar store to go with your journal. That is just just empty blank pages. Super great ideas. And because I think what you create is a super great idea, that's why I had to have this. So like and this fits perfectly with no problem in the little pouch that I needed to repurpose it. Okay. Then the other thing that I did, oh yeah, so then of course Michelle, this was more of a recent thing that Michelle had done. She had a bag that you can fit everything in it. Michelle also makes her handmade candles. So if you haven't purchased the big feelers, or you're interested in the big feelers, you do get a candle that is to die for, handmade with wildflowers in it, crumbled inside the candle, and it smells so good. And also, let me say that it was also confirmed and second confirmed by my cousin who received the Big Feelers package from Michelle. Thankfully, from me. That was sent out to her, and my cousin absolutely loved it. And she raved about the candle and how much that was inspiring to her because she was already thinking about wanting to get candles for herself. And then when she got the Big Feelers package, she was like, "Ah." So, anyways,
Amazing.
yeah. And then while I was doing that because I'm extra that way. I had to purchase this because for my local dollar store, which Michelle and I have already discussed about the little plastic flap that's in here and what I think that we should do with this. Anyways, so but this is for I got this specifically for when Michelle creates her loose leaf sheets that you can purchase that's outside or they're also, well, they're free, so you can download them off of the site that are separate from the journal itself. So I needed a place to put them. So I got this. And so we have the Copa head, the sheet, and yeah, and I'm extra because I also put this in a private video for Michelle so she could see what I was doing. So anyways, but yeah. So and then Dear Man. And then we have the dime game in the back. And then whatever, and then room for whatever other
More
sheets
to
that
come.
Michelle decides that she's gonna create and, make available for the world. And then here's the cool thing about this. So at the back here, if you remember all the stickers, there's room because there's like an envelope, plastic envelope thing that you can open. And in here has all in the little envelope that is has all the stickers and everything that Michelle has created. And of course the stickers you can put it all over your journals. It doesn't have to, you know, You don't have to save it like I do and put it in the back of the thing. You can actually utilize the stickers like they were meant to be used. But yeah, I'm a nerd, so leave me.
Love it.
And I mean, other things that have also come up along the way, in regards to tools, like I said, tarot and oracle that has been created by so many different people, that I absolutely love. And then because of, for me, grief, um, I combined with this Good Grief book, which is very small. It goes through all the stages of grief, and so I've been inspired to use this book and then create, excuse me, tarot spreads to go along with it. That even if you don't practice tarot, you can still use as journaling prompts. So that's also been really cool as well. Because again, grief, you can be grieving so many different things, loss of job, relationships, friendships, loss of a loved one. I mean, you name it, we all grieve, right? And grief is not linear. There's no straight line to it. So we can fluctuate throughout them, throughout the different categories, there are different stages. Get stuck in one of them for a long time before we move on, right? And then and then that's not even to mention if you are dealing with PTSD, CPTSD, along with your grief, complex grief, combined with trauma. I mean, that just heightens everything so much more, right? So these are some of the tools that have really, along with therapy, of course, not in replace of, let me say that, and but that have been very helpful in getting me through it all. So yeah, and then of course the support that I have with other people who understand what the struggle is and what the and right, that has also been helpful too. So favorite tools and resources don't are not just about the things we use, but the people that inspire these tools and resources and that are behind them, and that even act using their own skills and their own approach, are inspiring aspects of tools, if you will, but using their skills. So yes. So you fall under that category there, Michelle, as a favorite tool and resource. Just saying.
Thank you. You are my favorite tool also.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so well, I think this question, I feel like is a little bit redundant, just because we kind of already touched that, and that was motivation for creation and practice. But I think we've already kind of covered that, so I'm gonna like totally skip it. But this one now, mental health stigma and societal perceptions. How do you see society's view of mental illness today compared to 2022? Are there any positive shifts or areas that still need urgent change?
Yeah, I think there have been some positive shifts for sure. I have seen a big community of people, specifically with BPD online, which is the diagnosis that I have, borderline personality disorder. And I've come to know a big community of people that are advocating for reducing the stigma and for just showing what people with BPD are capable of in a positive light. And so I think that there are a lot of really positive movements. There's a lot of organizations that are doing a lot of really positive work out there, to help family members, to bring support to the people with BPD themselves. And there are other organizations, for other diagnoses as well. So I think there are improvements that are happening, and there can be more that is done. And I think that is one of the dialectics. So we talk about two things being true at the same time. And that's one of the dialectics that exists, is that yes, things are improving and they need to do better. And so I think that's kind of where we're at, is that the stigma is still very real for BPD specifically. There are still mental health providers that won't diagnose BPD because of the stigma. There are mental health
Really?
providers that, yeah, because they know that the stigma is so bad, they feel like it will be a burden to the person diagnosed with it, and so they won't diagnose it. Um, because when you go into the hospital, you may be looked at differently because on your file it says BPD. So you may not get as good of care, or you may be seen in a certain light. You may be dismissed for certain things, which is awful. And so that's where we still need to improve. We still need to educate that is the reality, that people are afraid to diagnose it. There's other people that are afraid to diagnose it because they don't like the name borderline personality disorder. And there's a lot of truth to that. The name is very stigmatizing, and so some people won't use that name. In other countries, it's not called BPD, it's called EUPD, and so which stands for emotionally unstable personality disorder. Um, is that right? That sounds worse.
That's what I
uh,
was gonna say. That doesn't sound better.
no, and so it is just something that we need to figure out. Not necessarily changing the name, but um, how do we talk about it and how do we see these people? And yeah, there's a lot of stigma that still exists. So there is a lot of work being done, and we can do more.
Yeah, absolutely. And just sort of referring back to my last year Bell Let's Talk Day, we the panel that I had, we spoke a lot about statistics, and why, that really explained why we're in a global mental health crisis to begin with. The stigma is still, it's as you said, right? That the two can still coexist with one. The truth of the matter, two can coexist with each other, and that's that there, yes, there's been improvements, but there's still many more improvements that need to be made. And you're absolutely right in everything that you're saying in regards to the stigma and how things are stigmatized. And when you have a diagnosis, that follows you like a freaking haunted shadow. Like, it's, people look at you differently, they treat you differently. It's when you're still the same person, but you have emotional struggles that maybe the average probably doesn't. And the thing is, why you have those struggles, it's always more the time has to do with what life has thrown at you, right? The trauma, and people don't seem to get it. And the thing is, trauma affects us in so many different ways. So why do we reward certain aspects of behavior, and then we fault the other aspects of behavior, especially when um it's regardless of its behavior. Trauma really impacts us in such a way that we fall into several different categories of how we proceed in life, and the journeys, right? And it's really looking at those behaviors on what's helpful and what's not helpful, what hinders our growth, what and what actually revolutionize revolutionizes us, right? What stumps us, what poisons us, and what actually helps us to thrive, right? And really looking at that rather than, oh, you have a mental illness, so, oh, okay, something's wrong with you. Okay, go there. No, you're still a human being. You still have feelings. You still have to engage with life the same as everyone else. It just, what you're dealing with now just makes it that much harder
Yeah.
to exist. People don't seem to get that. And the shame and stuff like that follows with that, right? The isolation, the rejection, the abandonment, all of those that on top of everything else. Yeah, okay, kick somebody when they're down.
Yeah.
Because oh, that's love.
Yeah.
That's showing love. Anyway, we'll just leave it there. Is that um yeah, so like I just feel like we all can be doing more and we all could be doing better. And it's really what it really comes down to is love and support and understanding and respect and integrity. Like I mean, right? We understand that, right? And those of us that have have been there and still get up, still show up, still doing the thing, not only for ourselves, but for others around us. That's something to be proud of. That's something to uplift and support and be inspired by. Not shame, not at all. So now bringing us to question 7. Your individual wish for society. If you could improve one thing in society to support mental wellness and emotional safety, what would it be? Bearing in mind that I think you're already doing it, by the way. But anyways, go on.
Well, I think what you said and just understanding people. So listening to them and understanding where they're coming from and understanding that there is trauma, there is things that people have gone through. Everyone has dealt with something traumatic in their life, whether it's a big trauma, a small trauma, but we all have things that we're holding on to. And I think the more we can recognize that in other people and recognize that everyone is battling something, the more we can have grace for each other, the more we can understand and give the time to understand and actually listen, give the space for someone. If they want to talk, there's space for them there. If they want to cry, there's space for them there. If they want to yell, there's space for them there. But give them that space and give them that understanding. And I think, yeah, if we just had more of that, more people like that in the world that just wanted to give the space for whatever feelings, whether they understand them or not, I think that would make a huge change in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Um, and yeah, and I just understanding the depth and the concept of what it means to actually love another human being,
Mm-hmm.
to actually give love to another person. And it's funny because and this is no shade at all to anybody who's a pet person. I very much love animals. I just cannot live with them. I am allergic to dogs and cats and trees apparently too. How is someone allergic to trees? I learned that just before the pandemic that I was allergic to a bunch of stuff. Like I've never had like seasonal allergies like growing up. Mind you, I did have eczema, but but it wasn't until later on in life, like well, I already was in my 30s, and then suddenly I had to get an allergy test and look like I had a drug problem because I had tracks up and down my arms. But that was because of the pricks for the allergy tests, right? And I was like, I have seasonal allergies now, so I don't just have eczema. I am allergic to dust, mold, trees, pollen, dogs, cats, feathers. So I should just live in a bubble, is what you're saying. Like that was, like that kind of thing. But like it's just yeah, it's where was I going with this? I don't remember why I brought that up. But anyway, but the point being is the fact that I just feel like there's more to understanding love than just the like pets are able to have. give that unconditional love. Whereas for people, we have a harder time because of trauma, because of things like that. So people tend to opt out to the safer route, right? Love of a pet, love love of something that isn't going to judge you or isn't going to, but that's the thing. When we check out that way, we check out on each other. Then that's how we make ourselves the zombies that we're currently living in. It's more than just the love of another body, regardless of whether it's a pet or not. It's about who can hold space with you,
Hmm.
right? A Granted, a pet is beautiful. It's affectionate and everything, but it's not going to talk back to you and give you the advice that you're looking for. It's not going to it's not going to to give you that sense of encouragement when you need it, because you're not sure, if you can make it the next day, right? You need that human attachment um to really be seen. At least that's how that's how I experienced life. And I mean, you're a pet person. You have Moxie behind you, who's made herself known. How, like, what do you say to that? Because it's not like I'm not faulting pet people at all. I love pets. I just can't live with them, unfortunately. But right, like,
Yeah, I do think that you can get comfort from a pet, and you can definitely get, um, they do definitely sense your emotions and they can be there, but I think, yeah, it doesn't replace your connections with other people. And when it starts to replace connections with other people, that's when you might have a problem, or you might need to break out of your shell a little bit and recognize that you're maybe being a little bit reclusive, or not making an effort to have other people in your life, because it does take effort. It takes effort to maintain relationships, and it takes effort to work through conflict, and people are difficult sometimes because they all have their own things. We all have our own emotions, and we're
mhm.
going to have conflicts with people, but that doesn't mean we don't have those relationships. So I think, yeah, you definitely have a point in saying that, like, once it gets to the point of replacing relationships with people, then that's when you have taken it too far, maybe with your pet.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not anything about knocking anybody with pets, and who love them dearly. Pets become family. That's totally understandable with, with everything. They're loved too. That's the thing. We're all on this planet and we all have a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
including the animals, including our trees and our flowers and everything, down to our insect, down to our pinky finger has a purpose, right? Our little piggy pinky finger, or the little toe that when you hit it, you cry excruciatingly. Yeah, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of, how I see that. And then the pandemic, moving on to like question 8, how has the pandemic, social changes, and other global events affected mental health in general? How has it affected your personal mental wellness and spiritual practice, even?
Yeah, I think the pandemic and just, yeah, how things are in the world have made people be a little bit more introspective. I think everyone, when the pandemic happened, everyone had a lot more time on their own, and so they had to just, yeah, realize who they were outside of work, and realize what hobbies that they had or wanted to have, and made everyone just stop and think about who they were. And I think that was a shift that everyone kind of felt. So I think there were a lot of people that quit jobs, and a lot of people that changed jobs or are doing something different or just identify themselves differently because through the pandemic they realized that they weren't necessarily living the life that they wanted to. So I think, yeah, it shifted a lot of things for a lot of people.
Relationships too.
Hmm.
Grief, there was something that really impacted grief for a lot of people, because yeah, not only job loss, changing of jobs, people who were already isolated, became even more so. um you having to sort of sit with your feelings more. A lot of relationships either became closer or they dissipated altogether because there was no longer a buffer, where the buffer was going out to work every day or going to school or whatever. And so people now were forced to sit with themselves and each other, and sort of have that sort of mirrored reflection on what was going on. um and um how that impacted, a lot of lives were also lost, so that really impacted a number of people and families. Health issues that ended up becoming worse, or or um or developed further because you know aids weren't there at when they were needed. And yeah, I mean, I saw a lot. I think for me personally, I became um a lot more sensitive. I would say, not I think, I definitely say I became more sensitive. I became the type of person who saw patterns a lot more. I mean, mind you, even I was already sort of stuck in isolation sort of prior to the pandemic, but then the pandemic came in and made that so much worse. And as that went on, it was like, okay, so what do I do now? Do I sit there and just do nothing, or do I, try to learn something? And then I spent a lot of time, diving into again the whole idea of spirituality and the different aspects of spirituality, binge watching a lot of tarot and YouTube, and just sort of, and movies, and revisiting movies and TV series. And I'm like, oh, and then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh, the secrets of the universe has been in everything that we've been consuming all this time. How did I not know this? How come I didn't see it before? Oh, because of the constant need to produce and go to work, and it didn't give me time to really pay attention to these things. But now that I'm stuck inside with nothing else to do, oh, now I can see it for what it is. Oh, so all this time, all the secrets of the universe have been embedded in everything we consume. Why am I the only one that's learning this? What is this a secret? Like what? Huh? And who else knows the secret? Like that, like it was kind of like it was one of those things, right? Like that was what it was. So it was I could no longer watch the news. Like the news became very toxic for me. It was like it made me sick to my stomach. I was like, news? No. Music? Sure. Movie? Sure. YouTube? Sure. News? No. Weather? Okay, maybe for like half a second. Okay, bye. That's it? Okay, good. Like, right, like that's basically what it came down to. What about you? What was that like for you personally? What do you feel like changed for you during that time?
Um, yeah, I don't know that much changed for me in that time because I kind of kept working. I kind of um, was already pretty isolated because I was just working and driving to work, going to work, and that was it. So I don't think In the moment, it probably shifted things, but now being 5 years out, I don't feel like it was that big of a change for me personally, looking back now.
Okay, fair enough. Well, so then in that case, even if there wasn't much of a change, what would you say that the pandemic taught you about yourself, maybe?
Um, I think kind of coming out of the pandemic, knew I wanted to travel more because like we were so isolated and so stuck that when I was able to, I really wanted to be able to get out there and just live life. And so I think it taught me just to live life to the fullest and actually get out there and live my life and not just get consumed with working all the time and just getting through life, but actually living it.
So it kind of opened your eyes to the survival mode that maybe you were stuck in,
Hmm.
and that it was time to live more than just survive.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I think that's something um that that a lot of people have learned. If they didn't learn anything else, or if that was the only thing they learned, that's still a big lesson in and of itself. So yeah, yeah. And how would you say your struggle with mental health has shaped your life? Reflecting on where you are now, um, what would you consider is your biggest accomplishment so far?
Yeah, I think my mental health struggle has shaped my life entirely. It has been like that's who I am as a person is what I've gone through and what I have how my mental health has been shaped through these things that I've gone through. So yeah, definitely think that my journey of just going through DBT skills and learning and being open to being curious to learning has really shaped my mental health in a way that again, like I'm living life rather than surviving life. And I think that shift has been big in the last few years. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, honestly, is that I have gone from getting through life to actually enjoying life. Um, and I think that's not every day, of course. There are days that I don't enjoy, and there are bad days, of course. But overall, I don't live life to get through it. I live life to enjoy it now.
And would you, so I feel for me, and it's as I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I feel like there's a part to this that maybe you're missing to mention, and I'll explain myself as I answer this question, and I feel like my struggle with my mental health and how it shaped my life. Um, I, on the other hand, would say that it has shaped me to become a very open, um, honest, emotionally intelligent person. It has allowed me to to not only um, to not only be mindful of what affects me, but also the ways in which other people are affected in their lives based on what they may have had go on for them. It is really um, sort of broaden my awareness when it comes to things like mental health and the different aspects of mental health and emotional health that many of us experience. Um, I I feel like um, I've learned a lot more because of my own struggles. I've learned a lot more about the various struggles that many people have out there. So um, it has allowed me to connect with people that are bipolar. What who and to learn what schizophrenia is, even, what it's like for people who suffer from chronic depression, um who, PTSD and CPTSD, complex grief, what all these things are and how they affect each individual. I feel like that's for me how I feel like my experience with mental health, my own personal experience, has really shaped me, on my path, and how I relate to other people. So it's as as much of a challenging experience as it has been, having to navigate my feelings and thought processes the way that I've had to. It's also taught me a lot, um, about the inner workings of any particular person and how I can then view other people when interacting with them, not to always take everything at face value, but also to leave room for the parts that are not spoken, the parts that maybe they can't articulate because they don't know how, they weren't taught that. um they never develop the capacity. So it's also, I feel is what has shaped me to have a little bit more patience, even, where, with other people where that is concerned, rather than just, run away, or abandon the connection because I don't understand, right? It's given me that sort of opened awareness, if you will. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's done the same for you. You just didn't articulate it that way. That's all.
No, I did not. But yes, you're right.
But I was like, when you were talking, that's what I was thinking. And I'm like, no, I feel like she's missing something because I don't think she realizes how much it shaped her to be this bright, like beautiful, vibrant, sort of open. I was gonna say open flower, open. I was trying to be poetic, but at the same time, still trying to play on the fact that you created the mindful wildflower. You know what I mean? So
It's my petals blooming.
there you go. Exactly. So that's, yeah. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. So, like I said, like, I mean, I don't think if you mindful wildflower wouldn't exist if you didn't have to deal
Yep.
with what you had to deal with.
Yep.
So, I mean, and lotuses, as beautiful as they are formed in mud. Remember that. Hmm. So you're a beautiful wildflower, lotus wildflower. Just in your petals. There you go, right? So, I mean, this was a great discussion, and thank you for joining me for this. I think the last that I have to close is any key takeaways or messages to others. What has this journey taught you about resilience, self-care, and growth? What overall message would you like to share with everyone, who may be navigating their own mental wellness journey?
Yeah, I think every circumstance that you go through is only as good as your reaction to it. So you can take the worst of circumstances and you can take them and use them to fuel you and use them to spark you on to better things. And whether it's a closed door or an end of a relationship or the loss of a relationship or whatever you're going through, as terrible as it might be, you can use it as a launching pad. You can use it as something to fuel you, to motivate you to connect with other people, to do something inspiring, to do something greater than what you were doing before. And so whatever obstacles you face, I think you can use them, and shift your perspective to how do I use this to better my life. And I think that's kind of the message behind everything we're saying is if you go into it with that perspective, and give other people that perspective as well, give them the grace to have a bad day, give them the grace to understand that something might be happening that you don't know about, and give them the space to use it to fuel them. I think that's, yeah, we would all have a lot more understanding for each other and for ourselves if we went through life with that mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. And I feel like it's everything that I'll always say at the end of my videos. But also I feel like it's everything that you said, and also to remember that you know n- no two people are alike. Yes, we are all human under the grand scheme of things, but we all have our unique journeys and our own unique struggles. And when we can be mindful of that and respectful of that, you know, um, kindness can go a long way, and love too, and it shows up in different forms, and it's how we give and we receive that makes all the difference. um, I also want to say that even in closing, um, two things. One, I want to pull from your affirmations deck, see what messages we have for the collective as we close out, and also to be mindful as well that or FYI, that as we're filming this, mind you, we're filming this on, like I said, on the 17th, but this will premiere on the 21st, and then on the 25th, what does my girl have going on?
A guided journaling session. So it's at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're doing a guided journaling session. We're talking about crises that you're going through, and we'll be talking through how to work through the crisis, how to prepare for it, and how to work through it. So yeah, it's going to be a great time. We'll have some conversation. We'll have some time for journaling. We'll do some affirmations. It's $10 to attend. You can pay through either e-transfer, or you can purchase a ticket through my website. We'll have the link in the description box. And yeah, that's the guided journaling. I hope to see you there.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So please be sure to look out for that. And of course, um, it's $10, but if you have the journal as well, is it free for those that have the journal?
Not anymore. That was the first one that we did. So if
Okay,
you have a
okay.
Patreon subscription, you can get access through the Patreon subscription. But otherwise, yeah, it's $10 regardless if you have a journal, but you don't have to have a journal to attend.
Yeah, you can have like the plain journal that I got from my local dollar store that you can, yeah, that you could use, not that specific, whatever journal you find at your local store, but I mean, yeah, you don't actually have the mindful wildflower journal is what we're saying.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely. So yeah, so be sure to check that out, and of course I will have that linked in the description box for all of you as well. And then just to close out, just to pull a message for the collective, or messages from the collective. Michelle, you're more than welcome to join me with your own affirmation stuff as well.
Okay.
And we're gonna see what we have to close this out. So, what do we have for the collective that we need to be mindful of today? And Okay. So I love this. So the one that came out for me is, for us here is I'm a mindful wildflower in a field of possibility. Imperfect, unpredictable, and blooming exactly as I should. Exactly. Remember, Michelle, you're blooming you
Blooming
can be
exactly
so.
as I should.
Exactly. So I feel like that is so fitting. It's all about, to me, this really speaks about the understanding of, our differences, celebrating who we are and our differences, having respect for the differences of others, and being able to still come together and and have commonality and connection and support. Um, Throughout this journey we call life. So, yeah, and we're all imperfect, perfectly imperfect human beings, just as we are.
Love that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You have something for us?
Yes, I have chosen I free myself from suffering by accepting what is. There we go.
Yes, I absolutely love that. So accepting yourself and others as they are, and looking to grow and expand with each other. And that's why I always say at the end of every video, as I am going to say it again, I am love, and so are you, Michelle, and so is everyone else in the collective who may be joining us today, or maybe joining us, maybe not, on Bell Let's Talk Day, not today because we're filming this today, right? And when I look in the mirror and I see myself as human, I know that when I look out in the world, when I look at you, Michelle, when I look at anybody else, we are all human. And so I, as I always say, please take care of yourself and one another. Let's support each other, help heal one another. And while you're at it, please don't forget about us too. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of the video. Please join us for actual Bell Let's Talk Day on the 21st. Check out what Michelle has to offer. And I hope that you will also be willing to join her journaling session that's on the 25th. After Bell Let's Talk Day, 4 days after Bell Let's Talk Day. So, yeah, and I couldn't be more pleased and happy to have found you, to know you, to be friends with you, and to enjoy in everything that you've created, and how it's helping me to continue growing. So I want to thank you so much for that, Michelle, and thank you for your continued moments of sharing your time with me to collaborate with me, more than once. And I look forward to any future collaborations that we will have together. Um, and yeah, and it's I couldn't be any more thankful and happy with the progress that I've made to date, and how I've seen you grow in what you've been doing, and the continued friendship that I get to have with you. And as I always say, please remember to check your privilege, mind your magic, everyone. And as always, live, listen, and learn. I love you so much. I love each and every one of you. Michelle, I love you so much. You have been a beautiful, bright, beaming ray of sunshine in my life, considering everything that I have recently, been going through. And the fact that I even got to meet you and had the pleasure of you flying across I mean, imagine you were coming to see your own family, but I mean, that's okay. And he still got to see you in the midst of that too. And the time that you made for me and we made for each other, was something that I will never forget. I even have a picture to mark that moment, and that was truly amazing. And a time, a moment in time that I will treasure forever. And I can't wait for more and more moments that in the future that we could possibly have, being in each other's lives. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, everybody, live, listen, and learn. I love you. Bye.
Bye.